Look up at... What do you see? The vast expanse of the heavens filled with stars, each one a tiny point of light, yet together they paint a breathtaking masterpiece. Psalm 19 begins with this awe-inspiring image, reminding us of God's power and majesty. The heavens are like a giant billboard proclaiming the glory of God to all who will look up and see. Day after day the sun rises and sets, painting the sky with vibrant hues. The moon waxes and wanes, a silent witness to the passage of time. The stars twinkle like celestial diamonds, scattered across the velvet canvas of the night. All of creation sings a song of praise to its creator, a symphony of wonder that has echoed through the ages. Psalm 19 tells us that the heavens declare the glory of God. They speak to us of His power, His creativity, and His infinite love. When we take the time to appreciate the beauty of the natural world, we catch a glimpse of the heart of God. But Psalm 19 doesn't stop with the wonders of creation. It goes on to talk about the perfection of God's law. Just as the heavens are governed by unchangeable laws of physics, so our lives are meant to be lived according to God's moral and spiritual laws. These laws are not meant to restrict us or make us miserable. They are given to us out of love to guide us into a life of purpose and fulfillment. The psalmist describes God's law as perfect, reviving the soul. When we stray from God's path, our souls become weary and lost. But when we turn back to Him and align our lives with His will, we find refreshment and renewal. His word is a lamp unto our feet and a light unto our path, illuminating the way ahead and guiding us through the darkness. Sometimes we may be tempted to think that God's laws are outdated or irrelevant to our modern lives. But the truth is that God's principles are timeless and unchanging. They are as relevant today as they were thousands of years ago. When we embrace God's law, we are not embracing a set of rules but rather a way of life that leads to true freedom and joy. I remember a time in my own life when I was struggling with a particular sin. I knew what the Bible said, but I just couldn't seem to break free. I felt trapped and hopeless. Then one day I was reading Psalm 19, and the words about the perfection of God's law jumped out at me. I realized that it wasn't enough for me to simply know God's law. I needed to allow His law to transform my heart. I began to pray that God would give me the strength and grace to obey Him. I asked Him to help me to see the beauty of His ways and to desire His will above my own. Slowly but surely I began to experience victory in my life. It wasn't always easy, but as I continued to surrender to God's word and His Spirit, I found the freedom and joy that I had been longing for. God's law is not a burden, but a blessing. It is a gift of His love, given to us for our good. Finding hope and direction in His Word. In a world that often feels chaotic and uncertain, God's Word offers us hope and direction. It is a compass that points us towards true north, a map that guides us through the wilderness of life. When we make God's Word the foundation of our lives, we build our houses on solid rock. The storms may come, but we can stand firm, knowing that our hope is in the Lord. Psalm 19 reminds us that God's Word is more desirable than gold, yes, than much fine gold. Sweeter also than honey and the honeycomb. When we treasure God's Word and meditate on it day and night, it becomes a source of strength, comfort, and joy in our lives. The sweetness of God's law. The beauty of Psalm 19 lies in its simple yet profound message. It reminds us that God's glory is revealed through both His creation and His Word. When we open our eyes to the wonders of the natural world and open our hearts to the truth of God's Word, we experience the fullness of His love and grace. May we all strive to live lives that reflect the majesty of our Creator and the perfection of His ways. Let us embrace the sweetness of God's law and find our joy